Now, it says prepositions are words that tell us the position of things physically or as ideas, or words that follow or add to the meaning of certain verbs. Prepositions need to be followed by a noun or pronoun. Now, here, when it talks about prepositions as words that tell us the position of things, that is in context of the prepositions we've learned in grammar, considering prepositions as singular words, alone, at the house, on the table, okay? So, in the context of the grammar lessons we've already taken, this is what they're referring to here, using prepositions to show the position of things, okay? Now, here it says, or they're words that follow or add to the meaning of certain verbs. In this context, collocation, where you have a combination of verbs and prepositions. For example, I say listen to, wait for, smile at. You see that I'm listening to music, I'm listening to a song. Okay, you can't say I'm listening at a song. So as a matter of collocation, listen usually goes with to. Okay, she smiled at me. You can't say smile for or smile from. As a matter of collocation, smile goes with at. All right, smile is the verb, at is the preposition. Okay, so in the context of this second scenario here, words that follow or add to the meaning of certain verbs, here they're referring to collocation. Okay, remember the definition of collocation is given at the beginning of this lecture. Now the next scenario says prepositions need to be followed by certain nouns or pronouns. Now, this is also as you find in phrases, prepositional phrases, okay? Now, it says they can specify where one thing is in relation to another, referring to position of things. Example, the scorpion is under the plaster, all right? Under here being the preposition showing the location of the scorpion. Now, the second point says they can be part of a phrase which conveys an idea rather than a place. Sorry, they can be part of a phrase which conveys an idea rather than a phrase. Example: on average, in conclusion, beyond all doubt. This can also pass for collocations. On being the preposition, average being a noun. So you've collocated on preposition and the noun average, and they always go together. On average, depicting an idea. In conclusion, also depicting an idea. In being a preposition, conclusion being a noun. You never hear anyone says at conclusion or under conclusion, as in together, conveying an idea. Here, beyond all doubt. Also collocation, group of words going together. Beyond being the preposition and doubt being the noun. So you see, these words go together. There's no other way to learn this than you just have to practice and let it stick in your head, so that when you see or when you want to use it, you remember, on the average, in conclusion, beyond all doubt. You just have to learn by practicing. Now, the next point says they can follow a verb which takes the preposition. They can follow a verb that takes that preposition. Example: interested in, look for. This is the situation where I talked about collocations involving verbs and prepositions. You see that here, interested is a verb, okay? It can also pass for adjectives ending in ed, all right? I told you collocations can be adjectives together with prepositions or adjectives together with verbs. So the word interested can be an adjective, it can be a verb, collocated with in, the preposition. Look for, look is a verb, for is the preposition, all right? Verbs which have a similar meaning often take the same preposition. Example: occupied in, engaged in, absorbed in. You realize that these words are synonymous, or they can be used in similar context. To be occupied, to be engaged, to be absorbed. It means something is taking your attention, all right? Something is taking your time. Now, another set of examples: search for, hope for, long for. When you're looking forward to something, there's something you want, all right? All these in the same context. You see, search, hope, long, all verbs going together with the preposition for. Now, the next point says it can be fixed. They can be a fixed part of phrasal verb. We know the meaning of phrase. I also pointed to that when I mentioned here. When I mentioned this point, preposition need to be followed by a noun or pronoun, as in prepositional phrase. Now we know what a phrase is. I dealt extensively with the meaning of phrase when I taught you the use of punctuation in grammar. You remember, a group of words not conveying a complete thought without a subject verb combination. All right, so they can be a fixed part of a phrasal verb. We know what a phrase is, right? A group of words. I just pointed it out. So a group of words which are verbs, hence phrasal verbs. Okay, so they can be a fixed part of a phrasal verb, one which has a specific meaning or special meaning because of the preposition which follow. Example, look forward to, put up with, still collocation with verbs and prepositions, in this case more than two words. All right, to look forward to something, to put up with. Now these words, this is just the way they're used. There's no other way to them, or there are no other ways to them. You can't say I look forward upon or I look forward at. No, you always say look forward to. I can't put up with what she's doing. In other words, I can't stand it. I can't take it any longer. You can't say I can't put up for or put up off. It always goes with put up with. All right. Now, in conclusion, he says many prepositions have to be learned because there's no obvious rule for their use. I pointed this out in my introductory part of this lesson, that when it comes to using prepositions in terms of collocation, there are no specific rules. You just have to learn them in context by practice. Now it says many prepositions have to be learned because there's no obvious rule for their use. Example, he got out of a car, but he got off the bus on foot or by bicycle. See, as a matter of practice, as a matter of convention, people always say, I got out of the car. No one really says, I got off the car. See, but people would say, I got off the bus. And you're wondering, what's different? What's the difference? A car and a bus are vehicles, right? Yeah, but then as a matter of practice, this is how we use them. And you just have to practice and learn to memorize and be able to use them in the same way. Now, on foot or by bicycle. Another example. Now, it says sometimes, however, there's a rule. Example, between applies to two things or people, but among must be used if there are more than two. You realize that between and among here are referring to preposition of location, preposition of place, preposition of position. And I told you that as far as preposition of location, preposition of place, and preposition of position go, with regards to our grammar lesson, those to a great extent have rules they follow. Okay, so you can go to our grammar textbook and revise our lesson on prepositions. Think about, there are about 3 or 4 aspects of them. Go and remind yourself, okay, to help you grasp better. Now that brings us to the end of preposition. A quick recap. Preposition can be used to describe the location or place of things, and in this context, to a reasonable extent, there are rules to follow. Prepositions can also be used in terms of conveying ideas, as in collocation of prepositions and nouns. For example, the book has given us in conclusion, all right? Now, prepositions can also go with verbs and adjectives. So basically 2 broad headings, using prepositions with adjectives or verbs or nouns as in collocation, in which case there are no specific rules to follow. You just have to practice and learn them in context. And prepositions used in terms of showing location or place of something, which to a reasonable extent follow rules. Okay, good luck, girls. Now, I'm saying good luck because you're going to have to do exercises 7 and 8, all right? So after doing the work, please send in proof of your work.